Hello, welcome to the Malaysia Blaziken PC 3. This is being held at the All Aboard Community Gaming Center, and today we're streaming the top 8 match, Joel Lee versus Haryz Izzudin. So we'll see these players, their team. Joel Lee is using Smeargle, Groudon, Cresselia, Kangaskhan, Xerneas, and Lando T. And Haryz is using Salamence, Kangaskhan, Kyogre, Ho-Oh, Amoonguss, and Crobat. So very interesting teams by these two players, and we'll see how they proceed to team preview. Now Joel Lee is a player who has top cut a few PCs here in the area, and Haryz is a newcomer making his first top cut appearance. And the players are proceeding to team preview now. Let's see how they lead. Alright, so both players have a re-established connection, and they will proceed to their to pick their leads in their back two. Now we see Hafiz has that interesting Ho-Oh, which actually has a good type advantage in this match because of Joel's two legendaries, the Kyogre and the Groudon. I mean, sorry, the Xerneas and Groudon. And the match is starting now, and we'll see the leads. Now we see Ho-Oh and Crobat from Haryz, and we see the Landers Kangaskhan from Joel. Now the Landers Intimidate might have a big effect on that Ho-Oh, since it's primarily a physical attacker. Crobat is quite a useful mon because it gets the move Fake Out. It gets the move Quick Guard to prevent the Fake Out from Kangaskhan. Also, its ability Inner Focus allows it so it doesn't ever get flinched. Mega Kangaskhan, they get evolved. And we see the Protect. This is preventing any sort of fake out from Kangaskhan. And we see the Tailwind, and this is a huge momentum boost for Haryz. And we see the Rock Slide from the Lando team. Now both of Haryz's Pokemon are flying types, so they will be taking super effective damage from the Rock Slide. And Ho-Oh does not want to take a Rock Slide since it is 4 times weak to the Rock Slide from Lando T. So now that Haryz has a speed advantage, what will he do? And how will Joel react to this? Both players thinking very much about their moves. And Joel decides to switch out his Lando T. Interesting choice, because Lando T's Rock Slide would have done a lot to that Ho-Oh. And you see the Super Fang come out from Crobat, and the Sacred Fire on the Kangaskhan. Now that has a 50% chance to burn, and it doesn't. And we see Joel going for the Power Up Punch. And that's also a huge momentum boost for Joel now, because he gets +2 attack on his Kangaskhan. Fortunately for Joel, his Kangaskhan didn't get burned by that Sacred Fire, since there's a 50% chance that Sacred Fire burns. Now what will Cresselia do here? Possibly the Trick Room, considering that Haryz has the speed advantage with Tailwind. And we see the Quick Guard, preventing any sort of priority moves that Kangaskhan wants to go for. And it does! It Sucker Punch fails due to the quick guard from Crobat. And we see the Brave Bird going on to the Cresselia. Will that be enough to pick up the KO on the Kangaskhan? It is not. So the Landorus's Intimidate went a long way. Cresselia decides to go for the Ice Beam, which is going to take out the Crobat. Now, Haryz sends in his Kangaskhan. Now, his team still has the speed advantage, but he's already down one Pokemon. Now, Ho is still an interesting pick here. Let's see what Joel decides to do. He switches out into his Landorus to get that Intimidate again. Smart move by Joel. Now, possibly the Cresselia could be going for the Trick Room here to reverse the dimensions and make the slower Pokemon move first. Now we see the Mega Evolution on that Kangaskhan. Does Haryz go for the Fake Out? He goes for the Double Edge. And that Intimidate goes a long way because the Landorus is able to live. And we see the Sacred Fire on Ho-Oh going to the Cresselia. Is it enough? After 2 Intimidates, it gets the burn, and but the Cresselia lives on. We see the Lumberry from Cresselia, probably to help Smeargle matchups, but it helped it out there. And we do see the Trick Room. So now Joel's Pokemon will probably be going first. It depends on the speeds though. Now the slowest Pokemon will be going first. And now we also see Haryz's Tailwind has peered it out, which means he's no longer twice as fast. Probably the perfect time for him since now the Trick Room is up. Now let's see. Joel has all 4 of his Pokemon, but some of them are quite low on health. We've seen Joel's Cresselia, Landorus, and Kangaskhan. But we don't know his last one yet. It could be that Groudon or it could be that Xerneas. But he's definitely having a hard time getting rid of that Ho-Oh for his one of his legendaries in the back to do well. Now that the Trick Room up, let's see how these players react and what their choices will be. Kangaskhan decides to go for that Sucker Punch, which is priority, and it looks like it'll take out the Landorus just enough. And Cresselia will go for the Skill Swap, interesting move to take away that parental bond from the Kangaskhan, which makes it so deadly. Kangaskhan now acquires the Levitate, which might actually help it out if Joel has that Groudon in the back. And we see the Sacred Fire on that Cresselia. It does not pick up the burn. And he does have the Groudon in the back. So this is a bit tricky for Joel now because he's just given that Kangaskhan Levitate. Which makes it immune to the ground type moves from Groudon. Let's see, the Trick Room is up still, so it looks like Groudon, depending on the speed, might be going first in this match. Or Cresselia. Now, Groudon could just go for the Rock Slide here and try to take out that Ho-Oh, which would probably be enough to take it out because it's 4 times weak to the Rock Slide. But let's see if Joel has that. And this is why Ho-Oh is so good here because it's immune to the ground type moves from Groudon, and its special defense is so high that it can take any special fire type moves that Groudon tries to throw out. So the only way for Groudon to hit it is its non-stab Rock Slide if that's what Joel decides to run. Kangaskhan withdraws. Let's see who Kyogre comes in. Now Kyogre's ability Primordial Sea will be able to cancel out Groudon's Desolate Land. So that gives Kyogre the advantage here because Groudon's fire type attacks will have no effect in the Primordial Sea. And Cresselia goes for the Moonlight. That will actually be doing that'll heal less than the rain. Only 20. So the skill swap here would be game changing for Joel. That would reactivate his weather, make him immune to the water moves from Kyogre. Okay, we see Kyogre going for the Protect here. Oh, Cresselia goes for the Moonlight, maybe doesn't have the skill swap here. And we see Groudon going for the Swords Dance. Wow, interesting move by Joel. Definitely putting the momentum a little bit in his favor still, but it's still dependent on speed. And we see Ho-Oh going for that Tailwind. And I think if Trick Room expires here, that just might be game. I mean, sorry, if Trick Room doesn't expire, Trick Room stays on in effect, and let's see how Joel plays this out. So now we have a +2 Groudon on the field, paired to the Cresselia in Trick Room, and Haryz has just set up the Tailwind. So now Haryz has actually had a speed advantage for this turn because of the Trick Room, which makes him faster. Now we see Haryz withdrawing the Kyogre, probably a smart move, but I think it might be a little too late for that. Now we see Kangaskhan switching in. Now whatever Cresselia decides to go for the skill swap is skill swap. So that's reactivating Groudon's Desolate Land. Let's see what he decides to do here. Groudon goes for the Fire Punch onto the Kangaskhan. That's a +2 Fire Punch in the sun. That takes it out in one hit. Now let's see what Ho-Oh does. Ho-Oh goes for the Sacred Fire in the sun. That's probably enough to take out that Cresselia once and for all. It lives, but it gets the burn. I think it's enough. Will it stay on the field? It lives just with 8 HP. And Twisted Dimensions turn to normal, which means the Kyogre has that advantage now in the rain and with speed because of that Tailwind. Now let's see. This is a very speed dependent turn. We already know that Kyogre and Ho-Oh will be moving first this turn, but it kind of depends on if Origin Pulse can KO that Groudon if it hits. So let's see. And we see Haryz's Ho-Oh hasn't taken much damage since the beginning of the game. It's been there since the very beginning, and Joel hasn't been able to successfully damage it very much. Ho-Oh's flying and fire ability is helping it out in this match a lot. Let's see, Groudon goes for the Protect. Is that a mistake here, or is that something? Kyogre goes for the Scald, and Ho-Oh goes for the Brave Bird, finishing off that Cresselia. This looks like game for Joel. He doesn't have any win condition. That Kyogre is just gonna take it out. Tailwind is still in effect here. Oh, and Kangaskhan comes in. My bad. Kangaskhan comes in. He has the Fake Out priority here. He can choose to Fake Out either one of Haryz's Pokemon, making them immune, making them unable to do any damage that turn. This turn will decide the match. Whatever the players decide to do here will be the winner. Will cost them the winner or loss. Kangaskhan goes with the Fake Out on the. And that's the game. Well played by Haryz. Well played by Haryz. Joel decided to Fake Out that Ho-Oh, and it was the wrong choice. And the Tailwind is expired. That's game for Haryz. Haryz has taken the game. Now that's a huge achievement since Joel was the first place slot. He went 6-0 in Swiss, and Haryz, the newcomer, has gone 4-2 and bubbled into the 8th place spot. Okay. And it has been confirmed, Kyogre does learn Scald. So what a game by these two players. Now we know that this is top cut, so there will be this is a best of 3 set. So Joel will have a chance to come back, or Haryz will have the chance to dominate the game. So whoever wins the first 2 games will take the set. Now I'll be joined by my friend Cliff.
Yeah, hi, I'm Cliff. I've been commentating for a few other rounds previously. I'll be helping out with my friend as well for this match, which I believe it's Joel versus Haryz. And if you've seen earlier, Haryz took the win very convincingly by firstly playing smartly and managing to keep his Ho-Oh around, I think.
I think so. I mean, the Ho-Oh really proved itself in that match. I mean, against Joel's 2 legendaries, the Groudon and the Xerneas.
Yes, both can really do much against the Ho itself.
And I think Joel really needs to play that Landorus a bit smarter.
Yeah, he kind of needed it to take care. I believe that Joel's priority in the second game is to firstly take care of the Ho-Oh, then his primals can come in.
Yeah, exactly. Because, yeah, I mean, that Ho-Oh just stuck around the entire game, and he had nothing to do with it. It was just firing off Sacred Fires,
getting the burns.
Getting the burns, yeah, exactly.
And I mean, the fact that that Ho-Oh itself is pretty bulky on itself, both on the special, especially on the special end, so it can take a lot of punishment from most special attackers.
That's probably why Joel decided not to go with the Xerneas. Yeah. I mean, if he sets up a Geomes, he has to deal with the Ho-Oh still, and it's not going to be a clean KO.
Because Ho-Oh itself, oddly enough, is a physical attacker. So Sacred Fire still does a lot of damage.
Exactly. Even with the +2. And it looks like the game is about to start, and they're heading into their game. Joel versus Haryz. This is game 2. Haryz took the first game with his Ho-Oh very convincingly. Now let's see here. The Kangaskhan Crobat from Haryz.
And Landorus Kangaskhan. So,
I think it's the same leads. No. Same lead from Joel. Haryz led with his Ho-Oh last game.
And I guess the Crobat this turn, as we all know, it likes to carry Quick Guard, but and with that Quick Guard, it will prevent a fake out from the opposing Joel's Kangaskhan.
Exactly.
Now, but what's interesting this turn is that there is no real need for Crobat to go for a fake out actually, because if that Kangaskhan in its normal form has the inner focus, then it can still attack the Landorus. And what I expect this turn for the Crobat is to either go for a Tailwind or even a Super Fang.
I think this is a very important turn for him to Tailwind. Since Joel really can't do much to prevent that, since Crobat's just so fast.
Crobat's fast, it has inner focus, and all around it's a great support Pokemon for this metagame in the 2016 VGC era.
Yeah, I mean, the Tailwind will actually help Haryz out significantly, since there's the Kangaskhan, and
Kangaskhan versus Kangaskhan matchup.
We saw Joel go for the Power Punch last game. Now, if he Power Punches here, that could be something very significant.
Now, as you can see also just now, what could be a speed tie between Haryz's Kangaskhan and Joel's Kangaskhan.
We saw Haryz's Kangaskhan move and make it evolve first. So he goes for the Quick Guard, and Joel doesn't fall for it. He goes straight for the attack. Now, if he goes for the Power Punch here, that could be a game changer. Oh,
no, instead going for a return.
He goes for the return. So we do see it's a speed tie.
So
it was a speed tie.
It was a speed tie. So now with the Crobat down, he didn't get a Tailwind up oddly enough, but KO go to Kangaskhan going for a low kick. I don't think he can pick out KO, especially at -1.
It doesn't. That Intimidate goes a long way. Now we saw that Haryz's Kangaskhan moved after the Landorus, didn't it?
Yes. So that Landorus could be scarred.
But didn't Joel's Kangaskhan move before the Landorus, or did it not?
No. The Kangaskhan, if I am not mistaken, it went return before the Landorus. The Landorus went first, but I think that's just because previously, before you the turn you Mega Evolve, you maintain your speed tier.
Exactly. Okay. So let's see. Now, Haryz sends in his Kyogre here, which is threatening with a either
spread water Pokemon with
spread water move.
Yeah, with a spread water
either a Water Spout or Origin Pulse, or it could even decide to go for the Ice Beam on the Landorus.
But the problem coming here is that both Landorus and Kangaskhan, they're not intimidated. Their physical attacks will do a lot of damage to the Kyogre. So if that Kyogre does have Water Spout, it won't be doing a lot of damage.
I think it's probably a good idea just to double attack that Kyogre, but that threatens there if he decides to attack.
if he decides to protect, then it's just they kind of just walked into it. But if he doesn't attack it in any sort of all, they risk being damaged.
Now we saw how important that tailwind could have been
Yeah.
if he had gone for it instead of the quick guard.
But here you go, Joel
see-
instead
see
comes up for
The Kyogre and Haryz did go for the protect that we mentioned.
yeah. So interestingly
And
enough,
Kangaskhan goes for the low kick.
now I expect him to pick up a KO onto the Kangaskhan, and
And
it
he
does. So that's one thing that could potentially threaten his Kyogre.
Now we see Joel has got his
Cresselia
Cresselia back in, and we did see it had the lumber.
Yes, correct. And Landorus here comes in, once again intimidating the Kangaskhan, which brings it down to -2 attack.
So one thing that Joel could do, we don't know his last Pokemon. It's probably the Groudon or the Xerneas.
I assume it would be the
Groudon.
It would be Groudon because he kind of needs it. He needs it against the Kyogre.
So a switch into Groudon here would help him out significantly
But if
against
he
that.
predicts that and goes for an Ice Beam, then it wouldn't look too pretty in the end.
It doesn't really. But it depends on the spread there, how much it would do. But
Especially
we did see that Kyogre had Scald last game.
Yeah, so
Possibly it doesn't have Water Spout or Origin Pulse.
possibly in this game it probably wouldn't, but according to the list, it actually is Water Spout.
It's Water Spout and Scald.
And
So
Scald.
it doesn't have the Origin Pulse.
So
So it can't go for the spread.
Oh, what is this?
Oh, we see the Chardyberry on the
Chardyberry
hole.
comes
He
from the
switches it
hole.
into the rock slide. What a bold move by
It
Haryz.
doesn't take much damage, but that only allows it to be
And the flinch.
the flinch on the Kyogre. That is not good. But here we go. If that Ho-Oh is not as fast as the Landorus, and it could still outspeed it since it is under Trick Room.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it kind of comes down to these different speeds because they're all around the same speed, I believe.
Yes, they're all around the same.
Landorus is like
Landorus
over
is base 90, yeah.
And so is
92,
Kyogre.
I think.
Wait, what is Ho? 90,
Ho-Oh
100, 95,
90 something.
90 something. They're all these legendary 90. We can kind of assume Cresselia will be going first here, but let's see how this decides to turn out.
I feel that the Cresselia right now is in a very optimum position
Exactly.
for it to start, regardless of whether it goes Ice Beaming, Moonblast, or whatever move it has in its moveset, and I believe that Landorus should be switching out to a Groudon since that's the
Exactly.
most optimum move.
Yeah, I mean, Joel does not want to take Scald here. A rain boosted attack from Kyogre would be pretty
so
big
the-
dent in his team.
The water move coming here is very, but instead he withdraws out his
Withdraws
Ho-Oh.
them.
The interesting choice, he brings
Going
back
out
his
with
Kangaskhan. Maybe he did predict the switch out of Landorus, so we'll just have to see.
Now we'll see. Haryz will have the fake out pressure next turn, and Joel does go out into his Groudon. Good play. That's a safe play.
That's the best play that could be made, I would say. And here we go.
But how does
Groudon's
Haryz react? How does the turn turn out? Let's see. I'm curious to see what Haryz does. Because a Scald won't do anything here, or a Water Spout. If he goes for any water move, it won't have any effect here.
I assume that if he goes for an Ice Beam, it could be. And Cresselia goes for an Ice Beam into the Kangaskhan slot.
Yeah.
Won't be doing much damage, of course.
Ice
Kyogre going
Beam.
for Ice Beam, he did predict it.
And let's see how much it does. That does
A little bit below 50.
That looks like a roll to get through the KO.
35% maybe.
Yeah, it looks like that.
But right now under Trick Room, we could assume that the Groudon is minimum speed, but with that Kangaskhan able to put out some fake out pressure here, things don't look too good on Joel's side, especially since at the back he only has a Landorus, so he kind of needs it.
Let's see. It kind of. We already saw Joel last game reveal Swords Dance on his Groudon.
But I believe in this turn he can't risk a Swords Dance
Yeah, he
this
can't
turn.
risk the Swords Dance, but he's probably wishing he had Rock Slide
He
instead
had
of
Rock
Swords
Slide
Dance
instead.
this
So
game.
a very smart switch there, I believe. Going out Kyogre so that for a potential reset in weather. Bring out Ho-Oh, which will resist.
And Groudon goes for the Protect here, trying to block that fake out possibly. And let's see, Kangaskhan does go for the
Fake out on the
Groudon.
And
he
Cresselia
goes
goes for a skill
swap.
swap. Yes,
that's
takes out the
Kind of,
Groudon.
I don't know, always agree with that play because now Kangaskhan can't be hit with the ground type.
And that's true, but assuming that he will go for an Eruption this turn,
Oh, we saw last game, he Swords Dance, Fire Punch, and Bristle's Blades.
then maybe he has to now, he realizes he made a mistake and then only Fire Punch will be doing his damage. But in Kangaskhan itself, can still do some form of damage via Sucker Punch.
Exactly.
Now,
Well,
unless Joel makes a very, very risky predict of going for a Precipice Blades where Kangaskhan might switch out.
You know, he did that last game.
So he might be able to hold
He
the
went
same.
for the Precipice Blades on a Levitate Kangaskhan and a Ho-Oh. And Kangaskhan did switch out.
So maybe, just maybe, the Groudon might be able to do something, but we don't know in the end how Joel chooses to play. Will Haryz still be fooled by it?
And he protects that Ho-Oh, and he doesn't switch the Kangaskhan out.
So Sucker Punch goes into
if
Groudon.
Groudon goes for the Precipice Blades here, he goes for this. He's expecting that. Oh, he's giving his Groudon.
He's giving his Groudon parental bond, and that's a little bit
scary.
dangerous.
That's kind of scary. Let's see, a Fire Punch will take out the Groudon from this
That will
fight.
definitely ensure that a 5
Oh,
punch
he
will
goes to the Precipice Blades.
And no, he made the predict, but it didn't go too well.
Well, now we see Groudon with parental bond.
That was a very, very interesting turn itself, but Joel, while he made some big maneuvers there, it didn't work out because I believe he just over-predicted.
Now the skill swap has swapped the abilities, so everything is pretty wacky. We see Levitate Kangaskhan and Parental Bond Groudon. And Cresselia's got that.
Cresselia's got the Desolate Land. Yes, so all the abilities are switched out here.
Only one that has its natural ability is that.
And
So,
nobody wants to switch out Ho-Oh's ability because it's pretty much useless.
now we saw last game that Cresselia has that Moonlight to keep it healthy.
Yes,
which
especially in
is
the
important
sun.
here, especially in the sun. And now Haryz has to really be careful not to switch in his Kyogre because otherwise he could take a Precipice Blade.
But I think
Skill
here
swap.
the best ability is for it just to
Skill swap. I think
yes,
he
skill
needs
swap.
to get rid of that.
He's expecting the switches into the Kyogre.
Exactly.
But Haryz isn't being fooled by that.
Last game he did switch it in against this kind of situation, and he ended up taking Precipice Blade, which almost took his Kyogre out. And we see here.
But I believe Kangaskhan has done its job properly. So Sacred Fire probably going into the Cresselia. It's not going to do a lot of damage, but under the Sun Boost, okay, that does do a lot of damage.
Now this is very important because now we don't exactly know the speeds of these primals.
I believe that the best thing for it to do actually just now was to Tailwind so that Kyogre can come in and just start.
The problem, if he had gone for the Tailwind,
then
he would have been in a huge advantage, and then he could
because
just Water
he
Spout.
can't switch into any of his Pokemon.
Exactly.
There's a Landorus at the back. Cresselia's going to take a ton of damage. Possibly Groudon is minimum speed, which I believe it is.
Possibly.
Since he is playing the Trick Room variant. So assuming that this Kyogre is fast,
No, I think the safe play for Joel.
He needs to attack
He needs to. Joel needs a Trick Room.
Yeah, he needs a Trick Room.
because he's probably a slow Groudon.
yes, that's probably true. I assume it to be true anyways in this case. But Haryz has maneuvered himself once again into a very good position.
This is a bit risky now for Joel because if he wants to have the Trick Room, he has to leave his Cresselia.
But no.
And he just goes for the Water Spout.
I think that's the best move. He just needs to attack with Kyogre
Now-
and maybe even Tailwind with his own.
And it looks like Joel doesn't have this game, and we see Joel who went 6-0 in Swiss get taken down.
Taken down in the
Quite
first top
convincingly.
8. Yes, and
I mean-
this is the thing about Malaysian tournaments. Like if you go 6-0 in the Swiss rounds, you're definitely bound to lose in the first top 8. This is the curse that happens. So, what did I believe he went for a
Water Spout.
and what did the Ho-Oh go for? I don't think it was a Tailwind. I think it was a Brave Bird.
I think it was a Brave Bird or a Sacred Fire.
Sacred Fire. So the problem, I don't think he went for a Sacred Fire because the rain is up. I think it was a Brave Bird.
Yeah, probably a Brave Bird. Sorry.
So the biggest thing that could happen here is that some flinches could happen. So Joel could possibly take the game
well,
anyways.
we see that Ho-Oh is going to go down.
Going for a protect.
Okay, so this is probably the safest play that Joel could be that Haryz could be making. The
Goes
rock
for a
slide
rock
going
slide.
down.
If it picks up the flinch,
It needs probably 2 or 3.
2 or 3 flinches. Now, I think the best move is
it's
it's
gonna
not.
need like
It goes for Ice Beam instead. So congratulations to Haryz for convincingly taking this round with an odd combination of Ho-Oh and Primal Kyogre.
Exactly. I mean, you think that they don't have so much synergy together
Because the rain, yes.
Kyogre nullifies that any sort of Sacred Fire that Ho-Oh wants.
But
to
it
use.
is, but we have to agree that Ho-Oh is one of, you could say, one of the best counters to the 2 largest restricted slots out there, which is both Xerneas and Groudon. And as you can see, not even Joel wanted to bring in Xerneas.
Exactly. If Joel wanted to bring his Xerneas to try to set up, it wouldn't be a clean KO on that.
It would not be, not
and he gets to
anyways.
hit with a physical attack, which would do
Which
a lot
will
of damage.
not be very good for it anyways. And if it sets up Tailwind, then in the end it will just be neutralized.
Yeah, exactly. And that Sacred Fire has the 50% chance to burn the
Which
Kangaskhan.
is very, I would say it's somewhat
people
broke.
complain about Scald burn.
Yeah, if people can complain about scald burns,
I mean-
then look at Sacred Fire. People complain more about Sacred Fire not burning than it burning.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's
It
a
burns
good
lot.
move, but
I think it's a 5% chance to miss, which is pretty good.
I would say excellent. It's an excellent move.
50% chance to burn.
50% chance, high base power.
High base power. It can be weather boosted if you use Groudon.
Especially with Groudon. That's how it uses Groudon against itself.
Exactly.
So I'd say Ho is a good Pokemon, but against Kyogre, if it's not faster than it, then they will face a few problems anyways. So once again, congratulations to Haryz, and we'll be back to you for the next round in the quarterfinals of the 2016 VGC Pokemon Malaysia Blaziken Premier Challenge Series. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.